I've been working on launching my second Amazon FBA product, and it's been a huge struggle. It seems like nothing's working, everything is falling apart right now. And on top of that, my sales on Amazon have been dropping. So there's three things that I want to share with you in this video. And the first is why I hate Amazon FBA, like the truth, because I feel like on YouTube, a lot of people only talk about the positives. I'm even guilty of this at some times. And so in this video, I want to tell you all the things I hate about Amazon. And in these last few weeks, I've been experiencing all of them. So that's the first thing I want to tell you. The second thing is I want to show you all my sales history to date, show you about my sales dropping, kind of explain why my sales are dropping so you know what to avoid, as well as I'm gonna do a detailed income report from last month. And I wanna show you some of the common fees that Amazon, that comes with selling on Amazon that people don't talk about. Again, a lot of times on YouTube, on the internet, people talk about how much revenue they're making, and I think this is tricky. A lot of times people are like, wow, 7-figure seller, that's so amazing. Yeah, but how much profit is there actually at the end of the day? So I'm gonna show you how much revenue I'm doing versus how much profit I'm doing, which is a big difference. And then even talk about, even that profit doesn't necessarily go into my pocket. A lot of that has to go into cash flow for buying more inventory. So I wanna dispel some myths here. And then the third thing that I wanna do at the end of the video is tell you all the lessons that I've been learning, and there've been some hard lessons, all the lessons that I wish someone would have told me earlier on. So in this last few weeks, this last month or two, in trying to launch my second product, the Cacao Performance Nut Butter product, I've encountered a lot of hard lessons. I've had a lot of issues working with my manufacturer. It's caused me personally a lot of anxiety, and there's some key little tricks that I'm gonna teach you that's gonna save you a lot of time and a lot of frustration. Now, before I go any further, I do wanna explain, I very much have a love-hate relationship with Amazon. I've made a good amount of money off Amazon. In fact, Amazon FBA is still my #1 source of income on a monthly basis. But there's a lot about Amazon and producing products and manufacturing that I absolutely hate, including like cash flow, like all these different issues that nobody's talking about. And there's a few specific things that I haven't heard anybody on YouTube talk about yet. And there's some things that you need to be careful of. So, I want to tell you the truth about Amazon FBA, not just the good stuff, but also some of the bad stuff. And I think after I explain some of the bad stuff, you'll know how to avoid it. Like, I really want to provide to you a map that you can kind of get to your goal and know what kind of traps to avoid. And I can honestly say selling on Amazon, doing Amazon FBA has been the most challenging and at the same time, the most rewarding thing I've ever done. So this video isn't to discourage you from doing Amazon. It's just to show you a more balanced opinion. So the first thing I wanna do is show you my sales over the entire course of selling my product on Amazon. As you can see, my sales this year have been dropping, which has really been freaking me out. And I'm not really sure why, which is one of the reasons I hate Amazon is they just don't give you enough data. So I don't know if my sales are dropping because I've recently had a lot of competitors coming in. So I don't know if it's because my competitors, like people are buying my competitors' products instead of mine, or if it's just a natural seasonality. January tends to be really good for me because everybody's making their New Year's resolution. And then as the year goes along, people are less likely to be eating healthy. But if you look at, compared to last year around the same time, I'm actually doing more sales. So that is a good sign, but there's one other thing that really freaked me out about this is if I go all the way back to when I first started selling on Amazon, let's take a look at this. You can see pretty much right away, I started doing pretty well. Like this first month, it was probably about like a month and a half after I launched, I did about a $30,000 revenue month, and more or less consistently, it's been around $30,000. But if you see over the course of this year, there was actually an upwards trajectory, and this was like during the holidays. Nobody buys healthy food during the holidays, it seems like. January spiked, and now it's been going down. And so what I've been really nervous about is I don't know if this is going to continue to go down on a downward trajectory, or is it going to rebound January next year? And this is one of the reasons I'm really excited to be launching a second product, because I'm hoping that as it's going down, I'm hoping once I launch my second product, my sales, it'll go back up on that upwards trajectory. Now, even with my sales dropping, last month I did about $34,000 in revenue. I sold about 1,200 units of my product, Performance Nut Butter, which is really cool. Again, a thing that's really important to understand is revenue is not profit. So after the revenue, I have the costs of the product. It costs money, obviously, to make the products. Again, a lot of times people on the internet will flash around how much revenue they're doing and they won't explain how much the product costs, how much they're paying in fees, how much advertising is. So on top of the cost of my product, there is the fees that Amazon takes. Every time you make a sale, whether you're doing FBA or not, they charge a fee. And so there's that fee, and then there's also the pick and pack fee, because if you're doing fulfilled by Amazon, that means you send it to Amazon's warehouse and they ship it to the customer, there is another fee. And this depends on how big your product is, how much it weighs, and you gotta be careful. Sometimes they overcharge you. Sometimes they charge me, I don't remember the exact number, sometimes they charge me $3 a unit, and sometimes it's like $4.28 a unit. And you can fight them on this. So if you do see them overcharging you, make sure you try to fight them. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt. So that's the next fee. On top of that, there's just a bunch of other random fees that Amazon will charge you. And people a lot of times, they don't talk about this kind of thing. So Amazon charges fees for storage, like all kinds of random things. So there's that fee as well. And then another thing is I spend money on advertising. So I spent a few $1,000s on doing PPC advertising, which is a great way to increase your sales. And for me recently with Amazon PPC, there's been a lot of competitors coming in my space, which is raising the bid price, including my number one enemy. I have a company where the guy has $100 million to spend. And a lot of the companies that I'm competing against, they have a ton of money to spend. So PPC hasn't been as effective for me recently. But even after all these fees, even after everything, I've done about $12,000 profit just on Amazon. Now I also sell my product on Shopify, where I probably did around $2,000 revenue, close to $1,000 profit. I'll put the real numbers up here. But here's another important thing, that $12,000, I don't just take it and put it in my pocket. I actually reinvest it in the company. So I save that money up for when I'm doing another production run. For instance, I'm gonna be launching the Cacao Performance Nut Butter really soon. And what I had to do was save a few months worth of profit. I had to save a few months worth of profit so that when I buy that product, which a production run cost me about $40,000, $50,000. So I have to spend all that $50,000 that I've been saving up on this production run. That's just for one. Now I need to buy more than just one production run, because as I start selling out of one production run, I need to order another one. So this is some of the reasons already I'm talking about why I hate Amazon, but let's actually break down exactly why I hate Amazon. And the first reason I hate Amazon is there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that sales will continue. There's no guarantee that if you launch a new product that it will do well. And despite what everyone says, no matter how much research you do, no matter how much planning you do, there's no guarantee that things will continue. And you could get new competitors that come in and steal your market. You could try to launch a new product and it could just fail. And I've been experiencing this a little bit. And realistically, over the last, I've been selling on Amazon for like 18, 19, 20 months or something around that, a little over a year and a half. My sales have been pretty much around the 30K a month revenue mark. Now it did spike up in January and it has since fallen, but overall it seems like no matter what I do, it stays around the 30K mark. But part of the reason I've been having a lot of anxiety, like I wanna be completely honest with you, the last month or two in trying to launch this cacao, and I've talked about it in other videos, some days are fine. Some days I feel totally normal, but some days I have a ton of anxiety about this idea of launching this new product, and it's because there's no guarantee that it will do well. Now, I've done a ton of research. I looked at my competitors that have similar products to mine, and they all have a chocolate flavor that is outselling all their other nut butters. I did polls I have a Facebook launch group, which I've talked about in other videos. It's a group of all my customers in a Facebook group where I asked them, hey, what would make this product better? What's the next flavor you would want? And overwhelmingly they said cacao. I've even sent out samples of my new flavor to my launch group and they all say it's great, but it still scares me. I'm about to spend probably $50,000 on a new flavor that I don't know if it's gonna work. But this is something you have to do. It's something I have to do. See, here's the thing. I have two options, right? I could either one, do what I'm doing, launch the flavor, test it out, and worst case scenario, it fails. I'll for sure be able to get my money back, because if I spend the 50 grand on this production run, basically if I do the math, all I need to do is sell 10 units a day for the next year, which is about a fourth of what my original flavor is doing. So if I sell those 10 units a day for the next year, which is before the expiration date comes along, I'll break even. So even in the worst case scenario, I'm not gonna lose all my money. Or even if I can't get 10 sales a day off Amazon, which I for sure would be able to get 10 sales a day off Amazon. Even if I couldn't, I could wholesale it at half price to local markets. But I'm still freaking out a little bit because I'm really believing in this product. I really think that it will do well. And I stay up late at night sometimes, writing out the numbers, figuring out what am I gonna do? Like what if I spend the 50 grand and what if it doesn't do well? But part of the reason I'm making this video is to explain to you, there's no guarantee on Amazon, but that's okay. You're gonna do your best. And as an internet marketer and in life even, a lot of things are just a test. Because the first option, as I said, is I could launch it, try my luck out, and within that, maybe it fails or maybe it's hugely wildly successful. There's a chance that this new product will outsell my old product 2 to 1. There's a chance that I might be selling 80 units a day of this new product. The other option I have, obviously, is to not launch it and to wonder what if. And a part of the reason I wanted to make this video is just to tell you, stop wondering what if. As much as it's, I hate Amazon because there's no guarantee, that's kind of life. And so whatever, if you've been selling on Amazon for a while, you know this. A big lesson learned for you, launch that next product idea already. If you haven't been selling on Amazon yet, then launch your first product because it's a test. Worst case scenario, you're gonna learn a lot of lessons. And part of the reason I'm making this video is for myself as a reminder that there's no guarantee on Amazon, but at the same time, you gotta take a chance. Now, before I go to the second reason I hate Amazon, which is manufacturing, which in the last 2 months, I've made a lot of mistakes working with my manufacturer, which has cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. So I'm gonna tell you some of the mistakes I made and tell you how to avoid them. But before I talk about that, I do wanna say in this video, I'm running a contest to give away some free consulting sessions. Or, if you don't want a consulting session, let's just get on Skype, let's just chat. And to enter to win that, all you have to do is like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe/hit the bell notification. That's all you gotta do. I'm gonna be announcing the winner in probably 2 to 3 weeks for this. I'll be giving away 3 one-on-one consulting sessions, and I don't do these very often. So make sure to leave that comment, like, and subscribe to get that. So the second reason I hate Amazon is manufacturing, and manufacturing physical products sucks. Working with manufacturers sucks. Dealing with cash flow and inventory issues, all of that sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna say that it's fun. That's my least favorite part of doing the Amazon game. But I do have some tips for you. One of the first tips I have for you with working for a manufacturer, and this one little thing has cost me thousands of dollars, so again, please pay attention, is get everything in writing. So I've been dealing with my manufacturer, and I don't know if it's my fault, I don't know if it's his fault, I don't know what the issue is, but it keeps happening where he'll say one thing on the phone to me, and then later he's like, no, that's not what I said. And again, I don't want to blame him, because maybe I'm mishearing him. Maybe he's saying one thing and I think it means something else, but get everything in writing. And even though I know this lesson, I keep making this mistake. So what I recommend doing is if you do talk to a manufacturer over the phone, send an email saying, hey, here are some notes of some things we've gone over. Another thing is get all the costs up front. Before you start working with any manufacturer, say, hey, what is the final price gonna be? Please include all costs and make sure that they agree to it over email or sign a document. I didn't do this. I basically kind of took my manufacturer at their word and said, okay, what's the price gonna be? Cool. And then later he explained to me, oh yeah, well there's some fees for this and there's some fees for that. We charge for all these different random things. And that annoys me. This is one of my biggest pet peeves in life, when I feel like someone has me by the balls. When someone says, yeah, it's gonna be one price, and then when the bill actually comes, it's like, oh, I didn't tell you about all these other fees? Of course there's other fees. That annoys me to no end. So up front, ask your manufacturer, what are all the fees associated with this? Get it in writing. Another thing that happened to me that really annoyed me is I had a manufacturer, I was working with the nut butter, and they basically 4x the price. I was spending about $4,000 for a production run, and now they're gonna want $15,000. So try to get a contract if you can with your manufacturer. Try to order multiple runs, or at least get in writing, you can do a purchase order and say, hey, I have the intention of doing 4 runs over the next year. Do you agree to this price? That way, you know ahead of time that they're not gonna try to do what my manufacturer did me, and that's increase the price. And this whole thing has been causing me, my manufacturer increasing my price has been a huge pain in my butt because now I have to go look for a new manufacturer. Now I have to deal with all these issues. And you know, to be honest, this is a big reason why I hate Amazon. This is probably the #1 reason. I complained about competitors coming in, which isn't that big of a deal. The competitors coming in haven't really hurt my sales that much. I've complained about my sales dropping a little bit. Truth is, even with my sales dropping, I'm still making good money. I'm still really happy with how I'm doing on Amazon. But dealing with the physical products and the cash flow has been a pain. And I've explained cash flow in other videos, but basically when you buy a production run, you start selling your products and you know your bank account starts going up, but you might not have enough money to buy the next production run, and it takes some time, right? Because from the point you order it, you're not gonna get your production run for another, you're not gonna get your physical products for another 6 weeks or so. So there's a little bit of a weird cycle there, especially when you're first starting out. So do some research on cash flow. If you want me to make a video on cash flow, leave a comment down below. And again, as a reminder, for the competition, leave a comment for any videos that you want me to do, any tips that you have on selling on Amazon, or just leave a comment and explain to me how are your sales going? How is your journey on Amazon? Like, what stage are you at? Are you still at the idea stage? Have you been selling on Amazon? Like, I really want to get to know you, the audience, a lot better. And part of the reason I want to get to know you better as an audience is the #3 reason I hate Amazon is because it's really freaking hard. Like, as much as now I've tried a lot of different ways to make money online, and I will say Amazon's one of the easiest ways out there to make money online, but it's still a lot harder than the get rich quick scheme that a lot of people, especially on YouTube, are trying to make it out to be. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a lot easier to start a legitimate business on Amazon than it's ever been before, but still, it's not some get rich quick scheme. And I've talked about this in other videos, but I highly recommend avoiding the whole get rich quick scheme mentality that can be private labeling or retail arbitrage, or drop shipping, even though that's not Amazon. Like, all those different things, those are ways that you can make money. And I think if you really just want to dip your toe in the water and see if internet marketing, see if Amazon's right for you, those ways are acceptable ways to do it. But it's worth the challenge that is creating your own passion product, creating a new category. And there's a book, The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, and it talks about the best way, if you want to make money or if you want to start a business, the best thing to do is to create a new category. What do I mean by this? Well, let's do a little example, for instance. Who was the first person to fly across the Atlantic Ocean? You may or may not know this, but Charles Lindbergh. Now, here's a question for you. Who is the second person? I'm gonna guarantee 99% of the people watching this have never heard of the second person that flew across the Atlantic. Now, who is the third person that flew across the Atlantic? Amelia Earhart. And why do you know the name Amelia Earhart? Because she wasn't the third person that flew across the Atlantic, she was the first woman. So you remember the first in any new category. So my company, Performance Nut Butter, it wasn't another nut butter company. It was the first performance nut butter. It was the first ultra premium, high quality nut butter. And it was the first, and still pretty much one of the only ones, that has all natural ingredients. So I created this new category. And that's part of the reason I'm not worried about all my competitors, because as competitors start coming in my market, they're spending their money out marketing and out explaining to people that nut butter is a good source of fuel. And then people come to Amazon and they're likely to buy my product because I was one of the first ones out there. I have a lot of reviews. It is a really good product. So if you create a new category, you're not as susceptible to a lot of these things. But still, all this aside, one of the reasons I hate Amazon is because it's hard. And if it's gonna be hard, you might as well do something that matters and create a product that you're passionate about. That's a big thing for me too. I've explained in other videos, obviously, is that if you're gonna create a company, create a product and sell something that you really believe in. Create something that you wish existed in the world. Now, I'm not gonna talk about this too much more. I wanna get into the big lessons that I've learned. As a quick side note though, before I go any further, I wanna start doing monthly income reports. If you guys like that, let me know. If you think it's a waste, also let me know in the comments. But I think part of the reason I wanna do it is start showing you like my honest journey throughout Amazon and showing you, what I do, what works and what doesn't work. And I've been a little bit scared. I had this idea about 6 months, a year ago, to start doing like monthly income reports. I'm a little bit scared to show my numbers off to the world. And one of the reasons is I did my 1-year update video, and I talked about how much revenue and how much profit the business in Performance Nut Butter has been making. And what's funny about that is my designer who designed my logo, designed my packaging, he saw that video, and we had a contract, we had a deal going. He was gonna be designing the cacao packaging. And he basically said to me, you know what, I was gonna charge you $100, but I saw that video, you're doing pretty well, I'm gonna charge you $200 now. And he basically said to me, you know, you're making too much money, I'm gonna charge you more money. So part of the reason I've been hesitant to do the monthly income reports is I don't wanna make the mistake of hubris and show off, you know, how well I'm doing, especially because a lot of times when people see how well I'm doing, they don't realize that a lot of that money gets reinvested in the business. And another thing I don't know if I've talked about before on this channel, my goal isn't to just make a ton of money off this company. My goal is to grow it and eventually sell it. So I'm reinvesting a lot of the money I make off of Performance Nut Butter back into the business. Part of the reason I'm reinvesting so much back into Performance Nut Butter is because I want to share the journey of, you know, creating a successful company with you guys. And I think that's really important. Like my goal, again, I make enough money from Performance Nut Butter today without launching the cacao that I'm happy. But I really want to take that money and like put a lot of energy into this company, show you some of the pitfalls, show you what's possible with any kind of company. But ultimately my goal is to sell it for the 1.5 million, because after taxes, that would still be $1 million. You know, maybe buy some property. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do yet, but at least that's some light at the end of the tunnel. Now I might change my mind. I might end up, as I grow my company, I might decide that I just wanna keep it and just take all the profit. And right now, as I said, my company's doing about $34,000 revenue a month. To get to the $1.5 million valuation, I need to get my revenue up to about $100,000 a month, averaged over the course of a year. Now I wanna get into the big lessons I've learned. I really wanna share with you these things over the last few months that I've learned that would have saved me a lot of struggle and everything, but I just wanted to explain that last little bit to you so you understand like what my goal is. So if I do end up doing those monthly income reports, my goal, like I said, is to sell the company for 1.5 million. And to get there, I basically need to have on average $100,000 revenue per month. I'm about a third of the way there. So I've still got a long way to go. And like, you know, if you want to see those monthly income reports, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. The 3 lessons that I've learned in the last 2 months are basically trust, to launch new products, and don't compare. And so the first one, let's talk about trust, because this is kind of one of those hippie words that gets thrown around a lot, like, you know, trust the universe, trust everything. And it's really easy to say, it's really easy to give as advice, but it's very hard to do yourself. But I'm gonna explain to you what I think this word means, what the idea of trusting and why it's so helpful. Because really, the worst things that have happened in my life, pretty much all the worst things that have happened, and I haven't had a terrible, I've been very lucky, I've had a very happy, you know, good life overall. But when I look back on the things that caused me the most fear, the most anxiety, the most frustration, without a doubt, every single one of those things led to something absolutely amazing. And I've talked about this before on this channel. You know, I'll give a few small examples, but right now I'm kind of going through this again, and I'm having to remind myself constantly about this principle, that the worst things that continuously happen to me end up leading to some of the best things. And an example of this is, I really want to launch Performance Nut Butter Cacao on October 22nd. And the reason for this is it's a little more than a week before Halloween. And right around that time is when chocolate and keto chocolate a lot of people are searching for chocolate stuff. So perfect timing, right? Doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I talked about this at the beginning of the video a little bit, but everything has been falling apart in launching the PNB cacao. For instance, you know, I told my manufacturer, all right, I want to launch this by October 22nd, which means we need to do a production run on October 3rd to give myself like enough time to get my product into Amazon, to get it, you know, ready to sell, all that kind of stuff. He's like, yeah, sure, cool, we can do that. I proceeded to hear radio silence from him for the next 5 to 6 days. I needed to get the nutrition facts because I need to give the nutrition facts to my designer. So 4 or 5 days later, they finally give me the nutrition facts so I can get it to my designer, and they were wrong, which I didn't understand how this is possible. Basically, it was saying, oh, each of the pouches would be 120 calories. Well, that doesn't make any sense because the original flavor is about 180 calories. And so how did it drop 60 calories? Turns out they made a mistake, which delayed it by another day. And then, I finally get that to my designer, and he takes a few days to get it. And then I have to send that, the finished designs, I have to send it back to the manufacturer. And the reason I'm telling you all this is there's a few reasons actually, but know that things are going to take a lot longer than you think for manufacturing. So however, plan out how long is it going to take to manufacture, especially your first product, or if it's your second product, in my case, plan out how long is it going to take to manufacture your product, and then add at least a month, if not 2 months to it, because things always go wrong. People don't work as fast as you think they would. Like in my mind, if someone sends me an email, within a few hours, I probably would respond to them, or at least within 24 hours. That's my barometer, is can you get a response to me at least within 24 hours? But sometimes it takes people 5 or 6 days. And it's a good reminder that people aren't on your schedule. And this goes back to my lesson learned of trust. So I was thinking about it. So I'd like to launch October 22nd, but you know what? Maybe I launch a week or two later. Maybe I launch November 4th. I like to launch on Tuesdays. That's another thing. So I'm gonna launch my product on a Tuesday and then have it be at a cheaper price for the next week or so. So normally my product would be priced $27.99. I'm gonna launch it at $19.99 for a week. And if I launch it on 2 Tuesdays after October 22nd, it's actually November 4th, which happens to be my birthday. And that'd be kind of fun. It'd be kind of fun to launch my second product, probably what's gonna end up being my best-selling product on my birthday, to go out, celebrate. I don't think too many of my friends watch this. I plan on taking them all out to dinner, and we're gonna have like a big dinner. I plan on paying for them because I have a lot of friends and mentors that have been helping me on this product. So I'm like, wow, that'd be really cool to combine my birthday with a product launch. And that'd be a really cool moment of celebration, like a really good benchmark, and I could always remember that. So as much as it frustrated me at first that everybody was taking so long to respond, I thought about it and, oh, you know what? Launching on November 4th, my birthday, might be really fun. And another reason that's beneficial is I'm gonna be with Ariana in France from around September 17th to October 2nd. So I will get back on October 2nd, and from October 2nd until November 4th, that's a lot of time to hype up my product, to market my product. And I've talked about this in other videos. The launch is so important. I'll link up a video on how to properly launch your product. But again, Instagram, emails, I've been doing a lot of Facebook direct messaging. I have the Facebook product launch group. Like all these things, I'm gonna market it really hard. I'm also, here's top secret, I'm also planning on launching a YouTube channel and a podcast for Performance Nut Butter, which I'm gonna do some vlog videos about and show you step-by-step how to create a YouTube channel for your company and how to create a podcast. And as a side note, like this is part of the reason I recommend creating a passion product, is because if I was selling something I didn't believe in, didn't care about, it'd be really hard to make a YouTube channel or a podcast. And part of the reason I'm doing a podcast is to network with influencers in the keto, in the paleo vegan space. So I'm gonna have them on my podcast, and then I'm gonna tell them, yo, I'm launching this really cool cacao performance nut butter in a few weeks. Do you want a free sample? Will you post about it on your Instagram? Will you make a YouTube video about it? Can I come and be a guest on your podcast? And these are great marketing tools, both the YouTube and the podcast. If you have a product that's fun, that you can talk about. So anyways, the first lesson, we've got 2 more left. The first lesson is trust, because as I said, you could even hear in my voice, I was really freaked out. I was really attached to this idea of launching October 2nd, but then I realized it's just not gonna happen. And I started thinking about it and realizing you can trust the flow of the world, whatever you want to call it. Trust the universe, because things work out if you have a positive attitude. And if you change your mindset to saying the entire universe is conspiring to help you achieve your dreams, like if you tune to that frequency, you'll start seeing like little victories around you. And to be honest, that saying, that phrase is a mantra that I say over and over again to myself. Like when everything's falling apart, I try to think, you know what? The entire universe is like conspiring, trying to help me achieve my dreams. What is the universe trying to tell me? Oh, you know what? It's telling me that I don't want to launch on October 22nd. I actually should launch a week or 2 later. The second lesson I want you guys to get from this video is launch new products. For the last 1.5 years, I've been trying, not too hard, I've been trying to increase performance nut butter sales. To be honest, the last 1.5 years, I've actually been having a lot of fun. I've been going on vacations. I've been hanging out on the beach. I haven't been working as much as I probably should. And part of the reason for that is because I'm really happy with how the sales have been going for Performance Nut Butter. My goal since I quit my job 7 years ago was to be making $300 a day passive income. Within 2 months of launching Performance Nut Butter, I hit that. So I had two options, right? I could either grind and try to, increase my sales and try to make more money, which why? Why do you need more money? Or B, I could enjoy my life. Now, I am gonna be launching a new product, and what I realized is you can either grind and really work hard and try to increase your sales 5%, 10%, 15%, or you could launch a new product and maybe double, maybe triple your sales. And I think the Cacao Performance Nut Butter has the ability to at least double, if not triple my sales. And what I did is my first product is a test. The Performance Nut Butter original flavor, it was a test to see do people like this idea of nut butter? Like, do they like this idea of an ultra premium nut butter? Turns out, yes, they do. It was a great idea. It's caused a lot of success. Cool. What should my second product be? And I test the market and I started seeing chocolate. People love chocolate, but I don't want to just do a typical chocolate. I'll add cacao to it. Again, I'm creating a new category. There's no cacao nut butters out there. There are some, okay, I should rephrase that. There's a few, but they have artificial flavorings and artificial sugar and sweeteners. I don't want to do that. I want to create something that is a new category. So my new category is a sugar-free, sweetener-free cacao nut butter. And I want my brand to be synonymous with this idea of no sweeteners, no sugar, it's all natural. And so that's what I want you to start thinking about, is how could you 3x your sales? And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's very hard to 3x your sales by doing some PPC, by doing some little, knick-knack tactics. The best way, if you want to 3x your sales, is to launch a new product. So do your market research, figure out what mistakes you made on your first product, and iterate on it and make a better product. And finally, and this is a really personal thing, the third lesson I have for you is don't compare yourself to other people, to other companies. And I'm gonna share something really personal with you. I've been doing that a lot recently, way more than I'd like to admit, especially about my YouTube numbers. I've been looking on YouTube and I've been looking at other YouTubers and seeing how many subscribers they have, seeing what their sales are on Amazon. There's a lot of people on YouTube that are doing a lot more in sales than me, or at least they claim they are. I mean, sometimes you're not always sure how honest people are being. That's why I always try to be as honest and transparent as possible. And that's why I do share a lot of my numbers, is because it'd be really hard to fake. Like the stuff that I show you, it'd be really hard it'd take more work to fake it than it would to actually produce it. And so that's something I've been struggling with, is I've been comparing myself to other people. Don't do that. Absolutely stop doing that. Because there's always gonna be someone that is doing better than you, and that's great. Try to learn from them. Try to figure out what are they doing that you can emulate? What are they doing that you can replicate? Another thing that I found really interesting about this is, as I've moved up in the world, the people that I compare myself are always higher. Like, I forget that I'm extremely lucky. I'm extremely blessed. Like, I'm making $300 a day passive income from my Amazon company. Plus, from this YouTube channel, I'm making a good amount of money as well. Now, I just to be completely honest with you, I do make more from Amazon than I do from my YouTube channel, but still I'm making enough from my YouTube channel alone to pay the bills. The funny thing is, now that I've gotten to this level where I'm making enough from YouTube to pay the bills, I start comparing myself to people that are making, $1 million a year. And this is a really common trap that people fall into. So as you start having success on Amazon, remember, be grateful for what you have. Now, as a reminder, I want to get to know you better, so please leave a comment down below. And by leaving a comment, liking this video, and subscribing, you'll be entered for a chance to win a free one-on-one consultation session with me. And I see on YouTube that I'm getting a decent amount of views on my videos, but I don't know you. And I want you to share down below, what stage of the journey you're at. Like, share some of your struggles, share some of your wins, and let's actually talk. And I hope that you win the consulting session. And I'll probably give away one of the consulting session spots to just at random, like a random person that leaves a comment. I'll give another one away to whoever leaves the best comment, and then a third one to whoever has the most to share, that shares the most personal story, because I want to get to know you better. So leave that comment, hit that subscribe button, and like this video. And remember, most importantly, to enjoy the journey.